What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. In today's video, we're taking a look at the team that I ran in the Great League over this last weekend, and we're just going to take a look at the gameplay here because I went 6-4 with this team, and I really wanted to take these particular sets because they were really rough, and I wanted to talk through them a little bit here and kind of talk about how I go about dealing with hard counters. So we'll get straight into the games here. I basically took this team as a slight change over the team that I ran to Legend last season, where instead of Quagsire, we have the Whiscash. So Quagsire having Mud Bomb and Stone Edge really does give it similar coverages, and also allows it to have that rock coverage. Now, two things that this team has struggled with in the past for sure is Lickitung leads, as well as things like Dugong, but another one also would end up being Lantern, because Lantern outpaces the Gligar to the dig. And so in this first game, what I'm doing here is Lickitung is like a soft hard counter. So I'm basically trying to soften it up with Mantine and then switch into my Gligar. Gligar is usually the safe switch here to like lure out things that would typically not be so great into Quagsire, or in the old team we used Whiscash. But I draw it on a Azumarill. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So we're going to go for this dig here, and I'm really hoping that I can just kind of save my Quagsire to deal with what's in the back. But the other thing, too, is that because Lickitung has access to Power Whip, I have to save a shield for Quagsire. If I don't, then I basically am putting myself into a position where I just eat the Power Whip later, and I get my Quagsire gets one shot. So what now I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here with my Quagsire, look to start getting ahead on energy since my opponent just threw the play rough. I'm going to assume they don't have Ice Beam, so they've probably also got Hydro Pump. We're able to get the farm down, which is good. And this is really about putting, when I get hard countered in the lead, or even soft countered in the lead, hard countered in the switch, often what I like to do is I just kind of put my trust and faith into shields into the Quagsire, or whatever my other closer would be for that particular team. Now, coming in with Mantine here was a bit of a desperation play because I realized that the alignment that I needed was definitely lost. I'm going to shield this up here. I was expecting a Power Whip. I'm not going to lie, I did lose track of the energy, but I was expecting a Power Whip. Now, I will need 3 Mud Bombs here to knock out. Unfortunately, this is a regular Poliwrath, not a Shadow. So I'm going to need 3 Mud Bombs. They shield the first, but they're going to just get to a Scald, and I'm pretty much cooked here. So not going to be able to take this game 1, unfortunately, but we're making it as close as we can. And it just, there are just some things that are just really difficult to overcome. Obviously, this game is a game that is full of, rock, paper, scissors. So we're getting into the next battle, and we see a Lantern. And I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, I haven't seen Lanterns in, it has been days since I'd seen Lantern leads, and as soon as I pick up this team, I swear I've seen like so many. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with the footage here. The game definitely didn't run this poorly. I'm hoping that it's only just because I'm recording something and it's actually not like that scuffed, but so essentially now that I've seen the Lantern, I need to give up 2 shields to win switch here. That's basically what I need to do. My opponent going for Dark Pulse here is really good for me. So that means that I'm blocking the harder hitting move, and they're not doing something like trying to bait me with Aerial Ace, which would make me feel really bad, not gonna lie. Second Aerial Ace lands, and at this point, my opponent has basically given me an opportunity to win switch here, so I need to take it. They're gonna go for another Dark Pulse, and then they come back in with the Lantern. We're gonna be able to outpace them here to the dig, or at least they're not throwing energy right away anyway. Dig is going to get the shield, and I'm going to force switch into my Quagsire here because they just swapped, so they're stuck in this matchup now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to go for these Mud Bombs, and this is kind of the point where I actually almost wish that I had the Whiscash anyway, because the Surfs and Water Gun Lantern is probably the #1 worst thing for this team, because it could genuinely just mow through the whole team. And every time I've seen Water Gun on Lantern, it's just never been good. So at this point, I know I have no win conditions. I'm just going to concede, so let's move into game number 3. Another Lantern. Would you look at that? And you know what? After I switched the team to counter Lantern in the leads, I didn't see a single Lantern for the rest of the day. Now, I'm not an algorithm believer, but again, I have gotten past the point where I'm trying to debate whether it exists or not. Anyone who tells me it exists, you know what? I don't have anything to disprove it anymore, because even the evidence that there's no evidence. But even the things that I could put out there, it's like, I'm literally experiencing the same thing that everyone else experiences right now. Maybe that's partially why I'm making this video is to also kind of show people that, like, it happens to me too. And I'm a perennial legend player. Like, I'm the kind of person that the people who believe in the algorithm say I have it on easy mode. And I'm like, no, look at this. No such thing as easy mode here. Now I'm kind of baffled as to what to do here. Like, Lantern in the lead and then Abomasnow in the back is just kind of like, here, just, you know, take the beating and like it, you know? So I'm just going to put my shield advantage Quagsire out on the field here, and they have a Shadow Poliwrath in the back. Now, from my knowledge of the previous game, I should be okay here. I shield up the move that comes from the Poliwrath, and I just need to make sure that this Lantern doesn't get to land a Surf on me. So we're going to go for the Mud Bomb here. I would rather take the Spark fast move damage than the counter fast move damage, which is why I throw immediately here. Because if I were to take too much counter damage, the opponent's Surfs might be able to add up just enough to KO me here. So I would rather take the resistant Sparks, and you can see, like, if I'd taken a couple counters, this would have gotten a lot worse for me. So we're going to go for Mud Bomb number 1 here. We are debuffed from the Icy Wind, and I noticed that it's about enough to do one more. So I'm going to go for just... I call it, okay? This is... I don't know. I was trying to expect that they would throw the Surf right when they got it, so I was counting and trying to go with that assumption. Now, sometimes a trainer will not will not throw, is anticipating that catch, but thankfully, calling that throw, we're able to take the game. It's early and the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. My goodness. Dragonite on the lead here. This is tough. What I like to do here is I got to build up to the Ice Beam potentially Ice Beam here, and we're gonna go for Ice Beam potential. My goodness, my English is not on point this morning. Aerial Ace is going to get the shield here, and honestly, from this point, I can go straight Aerial Ace. I don't want my Quagsire anywhere near this Dragonite. It will rip me to shreds. So I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace right away here. If at the very least, what I want to do is get shield advantage, maybe later I can land the Stone Edge on the Dragonite. So we're going to attempt to go for another Aerial Ace, but the opponent makes a really nice catch on their Lickitung. Now, the thing with the Lickitung here, Safe Switch, is good for me because I have a Gligar that gets a breakpoint against these Lickitungs. As you can see, it's got 5 attack. If you have a Shadow Gligar with about that same stat product, or same stat spread, I should say, you know, 5 or 6 attack is typically a good sweet spot with some good bulk to be able to hit those those Lickitungs. The brain's not wired correctly this morning, I'm telling you. So we're going to go for Aerial Aces here. Once we landed that first move, we're able to just go for Aerial Ace here. Take out the Lickitung, and I'm hoping that if they bring back in... I was hoping if they had brought it back in, I would have been able to go for the Aerial Ace against the D-Knight, but instead they have a Water Gun Lantern, which is literally the worst thing I could see here. And I'm just sitting here trying to make sure that they don't catch on me. That's the main thing. So, again, 2 Mud Bombs is going to be enough here. Do I want to take Surfs, or do I want to take Dragon Claws? Now, I'm over farming because I'm expecting them to try and catch a Mud Bomb. But thankfully, they do not. So we're going to be able to get the Mud Bomb off here. And then at this point, I'm going to go straight for the second Mud Bomb. Maybe trying to catch my opponent off guard, thinking maybe they're going to stay in with the Lantern. And they get KO'd. Now, it's up to Dragonite. Can we get to the move? I try to catch a Dragon Claw, thinking they might throw it. So I'm forced to settle for a Mud Bomb on charge attack priority. I don't know. I don't think this is going to do enough damage. I genuinely don't. But it's Shadow on Shadow. It's double resisted Mud Bomb. Let's see if it's enough. Quagsire just reaching into the depths of unwinnable games for that one. But otherwise, yeah, hard countered pretty bad. And if I keep seeing Water Gun Lantern, I think I have to change this team up. So, and after the 2 sets that are in this video, I do end up changing the team up, and I have not seen a Lantern since, of course. But my opponent tries to catch a Dig here on their Gligar, but I'm holding onto my energy here. I just kind of hold on to my energy and wait for them to throw, see what they want to do, and I save my energy in case they swap. So thankfully, saving the energy here was huge. It's going to allow me to pop off a bunch of Aerial Aces against the opponent's Gligar. They're only going to be able to get to 1. With any luck, I might be able to get to a Dig against the Lickitung if it comes back in here, but it's going to be very, very close. So we'll have to see what this opponent decides to do here. But I'm definitely trying to keep my Quagsire, if not away from the Lickitung at all costs, at least away from the Lickitung while they have a shield advantage. So now they have a ton of energy lead, though, which is really, really troublesome. So I have to come up with my Mantine in order to absorb the energy. Again, I don't want to play the bait game of Power Whip and Body Slam with Quagsire. And at this point, I have a shield advantage. And most of the time, I notice that Lickitung has something like a fighter in the back, like Annihilate. This is a very common thing to pair with it. So Oh, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and just go for the Water Pulse here and just do as much damage as we can and swap into the Quagsire here. And then that'll be pretty good. Like, we're going to see what they have in the back. Shield advantage. And I say that. Of course, shield advantage Quag is good in most situations. I'm thinking, what could possibly go wrong here? And then they whip out a Trevenant. So, yay! Trevenant! Now, they shield the first Stone Edge. One Stone Edge is not going to KO, but I'm hoping that with a shield advantage and some energy advantage that I had before, that I might be able to make some magic happen here. So we're going to go for the Stone Edge. And the Stone Edge is going to do a lot of damage to the Trevenant, but it's not going to knock out. It puts it in the red, puts it in Mud Bomb range, right? And so I don't know exactly how their pacing is, but I don't want to accidentally lose charge attack priority to an overfarm. So I'm going to throw the Mud Bomb right away just to be on the safe side. I figure at the worst case, you know, we have to farm up a little bit extra energy against the Lickitung. But Lickitun's going to come back in, and I'm afraid it's going to get to a move. And once again, I reach into the ether, and I pull out a good call for a catch. That could have gone completely in the wrong direction, but thankfully, we were able to get the catch, and that actually wins us this game. So honestly, that was an 0-5 set, except for some really good plays here. Yeah, just absolutely hard countered at every turn, and I'm just doing everything I can to see if I can't find myself a win condition. But number one thing that I will say, as we get into the next game here, is don't top left until you see their final Pokemon. Like, if I see this, another freaking Night Lantern, dude, you know, y'all wonder why I hate Lanturn so much? It's because it breaks all of the good teams. Like, all the fire water cores, all the flying water cores, like, everything that doesn't have a Mud Boy on it is basically gonna end up being broken by Lanturn. I just hate that Pokemon so much. I really do. Lanturn is just so frustrating. Y'all, if y'all follow this channel for a while, you know I hate Lanturn. But, so my opponent here is gonna go for an Aqua Tail, I imagine. They wouldn't go for Thunder Punch. I'm just hoping that I live it. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to, but I did live it, and we did get to the dig here. So that's gonna be a really nice farm down for my Mantine at this point. It's up to them if they get to the Thunder Punch. I'm hoping they don't. 3, 4, 5, 6. So they had just gotten to the Thunder Punch pretty much as they went down. And now because Lantern's coming back in, I'm going to swap in the Quagsire. Hope for the best. But unfortunately for me, the opponent has a Hakamo in the back. They are running a double Dragon with Lantern team. So that is going to be really rough. It's all neutral from this point out for Quagsire here into the Hakamo. But they have shields. I need 3 Mud Bombs here to knock out, and those Dragon Tails are adding up so fast that I may very well be within range of the Surf by the time that Lantern comes back in. Plus, they go for Brick Break and lower my defense. So now I need to catch a move on my Mantine. That would be ideally the only way that I could think of winning this game. The problem with doing that is that if my opponent were to, if I were to catch the move on my Mantine here, which my switch timer wasn't even up, the Lantern would just farm down my whole Mantine and I would lose anyway. So I lose here. No, nothing I can do. Lantern, just stupid Pokemon. I said it. I said it. I hate Lantern. I also hate Wigglytuff just as much. In the next game, we get a Wigglytuff lead. So this one's all about timing, making sure that you're optimally throwing your charge moves at the right timing. I'm going to go for an Aerial Ace because sometimes the Wigglytuffs will shield the first move because they're going to like, I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace, or not, I'm going to go for the Icy Wind next. So I'm going to go for a couple of Aerial Aces here, just trying to see if I can't fish a shield out of this Wigglytuff, and they do decide to shield up that move. Now, Icy Wind is going to come through. I'm going to shield this. Occasionally, Wigglytuff is going to have the RPS backline behind it, courtesy of the toxic teams. Water Pulse is going to take out Wigglytuff and gets me switch, and the opponent's going to come in with a Shadow Victory Bell. So this doesn't look good, but the other thing is if they have Shadow Vic in the back, then I'm hoping maybe they have Bastiodon. So I'm going to come up with my Gligar here, and I know that my Gligar can fully farm down a Vic at the same time that it fully farms down the Gligar. So if I'm ahead on energy, or not ahead on HP, then I'm just chilling here. Now I'm gonna go ahead go for the Aerial Ace. Go for Acid Spray, okay. But the reason I go for the Aerial Ace is because I wanted that shield, or I wanted to get rid of that Vic. So good game. The game finally threw me a bone and said, "Here, have a Bastiodon." And look, and then it said, "Here, have a Lantern." So here we're gonna see once again Lantern into Gligar. It's the same old thing. They throw the Surf before I swap out every single time. I'm going to shield it, and then I have to win switch. I have no other choice but to win switch. So the opponent now comes in with Mandibuzz, and Mandibuzz is a very neutral matchup, but down a shield can be very troublesome for my Gligar. So I'm going to go for the Aerial Aces here with as quickly as I can get to him. And then afterwards, we're just going to see what the opponent wants to do. Like Aerial Ace with the quickness, right? We're just trying to go for as many as we can here. Opponent is going to go for a move. I usually shield up the first move if I know that I'm going to shield anything, because the typical way that this goes, if I don't shield the Dark Pulse, then they just start going for Aerial Aces afterwards, and I would rather shield that Dark Pulse. So my opponent decides to not shield anything here, and this is actually kind of good for me here. So they're going to go for Aerial Ace. I'm like, okay, we'll just farm down, and they get to another freaking Aerial Ace. I'm like, are you kidding me? They had that much energy. So they got both shields on me, but they also got switch. But the thing is now they have a little Wigglytuff. This is okay. They're forcibly swapping out the Wigglytuff. They saved a very low HP. Mandibuzz in the back. So 2 shields. Now I have something to put my Mantine on, and I can put my Quag on their Lantern later. I'm just hoping to fish a shield off this Lantern. That's all I need to do here. Fish a shield off the Lantern. The opponent just lets the Wigglytuff go, and now the Quagsire comes in, but the opponent is up 2 shields. So I still need 3 Mud Bombs here, because 1 Mud Bomb plus the Mud Shots from this range will actually end up being enough here. I just have to be careful of them catching on the Mandibuzz, which I'm very much expecting them to do. So I'm over farming, trying to make sure that I'm like waiting for the animation to come up. In that case, I was like, let me go for 1 more Mud Bomb before their switch timer comes up. And now it's all about catching. So my opponent is going to go for a Surf here. It's going to do some damage, but the Sparks are not going to knock out right away. We have a little bit of HP left, and I over farm here, expecting them to swap. And then, of course, as soon as they do decide to commit to the swap, I realize I don't have the HP to Mud Shot down the Mandibuzz. So I'm forced to go for the Mud Shot, and I know I've lost the game. So I should just throw him right away. Close as we could make it, I guess. The game now throws me a bone here. Ha! Alolan Marowak on the lead. The opponent comes in with a double. I'm going to pop in my Gligar. My whole team has a lot of play against the Alolan Marowak, but the thing is here is that my opponent instantly switched. So what that tells me is they probably have a better answer in the back for the Mantine. So if I can help it, I want to maintain switch advantage here. And so Gligar is going to start getting shields off of the opponent's double. I know I can live 1 more Body Slam if I need to. And so we're going to eat it. The double kicks don't, they're adding up, but they're not adding up very quick because they're resisted. We are going to be able to get a couple of moves off here, but I just need to throw the dig. I'm just going to go straight for the dig, to be honest. If I can get the dig off here, I'm in a good spot. The opponent does decide to let that go, and because they still need 2 more for the next Body Slam, they're going to get knocked out. I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace immediately here, because I don't want to have the chance of me throwing the Wing Attack and getting taken down before I get the Aerial Ace off. Wasn't worth it. Opponent is staying in here now against this Mantine. And they got something in my throat, man. Goodness, get out of there. Get out of there. Let's drink some water. Opponent goes for the Shadow Bone. I don't shield it because I know I can tank it. At this point, I'm happy enough just to get rid of the Marowak and see what's in the back. The opponent now has a Poliwrath, and I have a win condition on the board. We basically let Mantine do its thing, take it as low as it possibly can, and then Quag just needs to get to 2 Mud Bombs from this range to knock out. We did see how much damage they did previously. I'm going to go for a very risky play. I try to survive those 2 counters and get the Aerial Ace off, and now my win condition has changed to just save the shield for the Aerial Ace on the Mantine at the end of this game here. The opponent's going to go for a move. I can no shield it now that I know I've got it banked. If I wasn't able to make it, I would have just shielded once on the Quagsire and been able to go for a move here. So really, thankfully I had a win condition either way. The opponent's team comp was very favorable for me. So we finally get one. And we're heading into the next game here. We got a superior, another favorable lead here, which is really nice to see after the last 7 games or 8 games being literally just a bunch of people running stupid Lantern. Oh my goodness, I'm so tired of seeing that Pokemon. So they come in with Feraligatr here, and you notice that I go for the Aerial Ace right away. You'll also, maybe you've noticed in your own games that if you swap in the very beginning of a game, you end up getting a 1-turn delay, and that can happen in various situations as well. Like if you're switching in the middle of, like right now, if I were to switch my Mantine into a fast move here, after we've done our first fast moves, it will also take a turn. So Mantine is going to take out the Feraligatr here in the zeros, and the opponent's going to come in with a Dugong. This is a very, very tough situation because Dugong in general is just very difficult to deal with. But knowing that they have Superior in the back, I can save my Gligar to deal with the Superior, hopefully, and then I'm gonna let my Quagsire handle the this Dugong here. Now I go for a bait here because it's, you know, I have Stone Edge, they have Icy Wind. I feel like they're probably going to try to at least shield once or twice here. The opponent goes ahead and lets that go, and I'm going to start shielding my Quagsire here because I absolutely cannot let this thing anywhere near my Gligar. My opponent doesn't know I have a Gligar yet, which is really to my advantage here, because I feel like if they did, they would try to come in with the Superior much quicker. And thankfully, we do get that Stone Edge landing here, and we're able to go for the Mud Bomb on good timing just before they're able to get to another move, which is really nice here. And then they're going to let the Dugong go. I'm just going to throw my Gligar in here, and as long as I don't shield an Aerial Ace or even shield a Frenzy Plant, need a Frenzy Plant, I'm okay here. Frenzy Plant does a little over half to Shadow Gligar, so at this point, I can let this go. I just need to get to another Aerial Ace, and I'm pretty much winning here. So Aerial Ace isn't going to do that much. The opponent decides to try to go for that bait. I'm going to go and just go for Aerial Aces here. The opponent not going for the Frenzy Plant didn't help them, but I don't think the Frenzy Plant would have been enough there either. Now I definitely shield no matter what it is because I'm within range of being KO'd. They full send the Frenzy Plant. We take down the Superior, and that's a good game. We go for 6 and 4 here, so we were able to really take some really nasty scenarios here and go for those 3-2s. Now, I know obviously the gains aren't that great, and I mean, you know, it's Go Battle League. What are you gonna do? But hopefully this kind of video helps you guys kind of understand my thought process, especially when it comes to hard counter situations. I'm basically just, you know, with my back against the wall, essentially just trying to make some sort of scenario work. And if it does, great. And if it doesn't, then, I mean, I was going to lose the game anyway. So hopefully that kind of helps y'all get some insight in how I handle those things. But thank you guys very much for watching. I'm going to go take my, my broken speech self and go get some more coffee here. I'm recording this on Sunday morning. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.